Hi folks, this is your MWIS Winter Planner updated on Friday the 24th of March. We're officially into the season of spring and British summertime starts this weekend, but it's still a wintry outlook to be found on the mountains with some increasingly colder air extending back southwards across the country this weekend, leaving much upland terrain frozen and some hard frosts overnight into the valleys and the glens as we go into the start of the new week. The week ahead, then, is still a rather changeable story as low pressure is around and some milder air moves back in from the Atlantic. Just to introduce this weekend's weather story, we have low pressure over the country and a very complicated tangle of leftover fronts, basically, still circulating around and some areas of showers. Those focused over northern England as we go through Saturday daytime, but some showery conditions over Wales as well. We will see another area of low pressure moving in from the southwest by Saturday evening and night, and various fronts rotating around that bring a spell of heavy rain and some areas of snow across the hills even further north. But notice that the isobars swing around to the north more directly as we go into Sunday, and that's where the much colder air then extends all the way across the country. A ridge of higher pressure is just trying to build out to the west as we start next week. The pattern for the week as a whole next week shows that low pressure is once more near to us, the greeny-blue colours indicating the presence of lower than average pressure over the Atlantic, so some further weather systems coming in with spells of wind and rain. Some milder southwesterlies once more coming back into England and Wales, but still hanging on to some chillier air across Scotland. It may be that there's a lift of temperature for a while, but with higher pressure still located up towards the north of the country, we could still drag in some chillier airflows from the north and northeast, even later on in the week. Let's take you through the freezing level chart for the days ahead, and this is Saturday, and we're sub-zero broadly across the Scottish mountains. The lowest freezing levels toward the north, around 500 to 700 metres across northern mountains, and nearer to 800 metres, perhaps even 1,000 metres away toward the southwest of the Highlands. The freezing level is around 900 to 1,000 metres over northern England, and a little bit higher for Wales, but still may allow some of the precipitation here to fall as some snow on the highest tops. Taking the story on through Saturday evening and night, and colder air will extend further southwards as we go through into Sunday, with that freezing level dropping sharply across all regions, so that for Sunday daytime we're really sub-zero above around 400 to 600 metres across the Highlands and 600 to 800 metres across northern England and Wales, a little bit higher toward the south. A widespread hard frost forms overnight into Monday, the freezing level here then showing as going all the way down into the valleys and the glens. By Monday daytime, that will lift, the frost will lift, and the temperature will rise in the valleys, but across the mountains, you'll still stay sub-zero above around 600 to 800 metres. Some south-facing slopes may just go a degree or so warmer. Heading through into Monday night, and a frost forms once more, particularly across the northern half of the country. We are seeing some weather fronts then trying to move in from the southwest, eventually introducing some milder air through into Tuesday, but that running into some cold air at first could give some snowfalls. We'll look at that in a moment. So Tuesday looks as though we stay with colder air across Scotland, but milder air moving in through England and Wales. We expect that lifting of freezing level will push further into the Highlands through into Wednesday, so lifting above freezing point by a degree or so to the highest summits through the middle of the week. England and Wales then quite a bit milder by this stage, above freezing by a good few degrees. Late in the week, the indications do just suggest that Scotland at least drags some colder air back round, so we could well go sub-zero across the mountains once more, and a chance that that chillier air could advance a bit further southwards again. Looking at the snow depth forecast according to the models, and this chart shows some lying snow over the Highlands. Do bear in mind that the higher mountains themselves do have a fair coverage of lying snow over higher terrain and some icy conditions to be aware of, so winter conditions to prepare for then over those tops. As we go through this weekend, not too much showing up really on these charts, but Saturday evening and night has the potential for some snow flurries pushing northwards again into the Highlands just as the front circulates around. There is uncertainty with that, and I think this chart is maybe overdoing it a little bit, but there is the potential for some snowfalls around just overnight into Sunday, giving some fresh coverage over some tops. Even the southern uplands has the potential, but I do think that chart may be just overdoing things somewhat. Either way, we do stay cold, and any snow that's around on the mountains will stay in position for the start of the new week. Watching then for some fresh snow around Tuesday over the Highlands as a front comes in. That may give some fresh coverage for a while before that turns back to rain and then starts to thaw once more, with just more or less the existing snow that we've got at the moment still then around over the mountains, the hard, consolidated, more compacted snow that's been around from recent days. Later in the week, nothing really much more than that showing up at this time. To briefly just return to the weekend's synoptic charts, and Saturday sees the worst of conditions mainly across England and Wales as a tangle of fronts exist here, with some heavy bursts of showery rain merging into some longer spells of rain at times through northern England, a chance of isolated hail and thunder in that into the afternoon. Showers for Wales, along with gale force westerly winds, will tend to ease for a time before rain returns into the night. For Scotland, one or two local showers or snow flurries, but actually a lot of dry and bright weather to be found, and fairly light winds, but feeling bitterly cold across the mountains with sub-zero air temperatures. Very cold across the mountains on Sunday. Temperatures then over the Munros will be -5 or below, and nearer to -8 or 9 on the very highest summits in Scotland, with wind chill factors feeling more like -15 to -20, so do be prepared for that. Some snow showers and flurries coming down from the north, pretty well scattered, focused across more northern and eastern parts of the Highlands. A scattering of showers too for England and Wales, some overnight rain likely to clear. The synoptic charts into the early part of next week shows high pressure over the country as we go into Monday. That northerly breeze then will have eased down and eventually will turn the wind to the south-southwest as we watch for the next weather system coming in. A small-scale area of low pressure just north of Scotland just needs watching in case it produces some areas of showers that graze into the northwestern Highlands. But otherwise, Monday looks a very good mountain day with lots of sunshine, clear skies, superb visibility, barely any fragments of cloud drifting around the hills. So a good day with mostly light winds and very low temperatures. Do just be aware then of that chill factor if the breeze does increase locally. The greatest risk of stronger winds just in the Northwest Highlands, again around that circulating low. Things do go downhill, though, it looks like, by Monday evening and night. By Tuesday, we see fronts sweeping in. That's the potential for a spell of snowfall then moving into the Highlands. Some wet weather moving through into England and Wales. Gale force southwesterly winds developing here. More variable winds for the Highlands could well strengthen as southeasterlies and then turning toward the south or even southwest later as those fronts push further through. Temperatures then tending to rise with time through the day. We're back to looking rather unsettled into the middle of the week, it must be said, with low pressure nearby, various fronts around, some spells of rain and strong winds for England and Wales, some fronts pushing northwards through the Highlands as well, with some areas of rain and some upland snow, maybe just on the higher tops by this stage. Temperatures just lifting above freezing point. Thinking forwards towards the Easter period, and although there's quite a bit of uncertainty between various forecast simulations at this stage, this chart gives some cause for optimism as the pinker colours indicate the presence of higher pressure that focused up towards Scandinavia but influencing Britain as well, which would give some quieter weather patterns, maybe still the scope for a few April showers in the forecast, but some drier conditions in there as well. In terms of temperatures, it would really just depend exactly where the airflow is coming from, but this indicates more of an easterly type of pattern, which could keep things still on the cooler side with a greater risk of some frost overnight as well. The suggestions even further ahead would go for more of an easterly type of weather pattern with high pressure focused toward the north, lower pressure to the south, which again would be quite a decent spell in terms of drier weather, especially across the northern half of Britain. Again, maybe with a greater risk of frost continuing through this time. We'll see how that develops in next week's video, which will become your Easter planner, so stay tuned for that one. Thanks for watching today. Bye for now.